All right, fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. And to our Patreon patrons and our YouTube subscribers, thank you so much. You're getting it real time. To our Amazon Prime customers who are smart enough and diligent enough and industrious enough to link their Amazon Prime accounts to their Twitch Prime accounts, really easy, thereby sticking it to Amazon, getting something free that you've already paid for, that they're willing to pay for. We're also getting paid for that. So if you please can remember to re-link your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account, we get paid for that.
This episode of Pachter Factor is brought to you by DeShazer Ryan Realty. Right now, Doug DeShazer has beautiful lots available adjacent to Koocanusa Lake in northwest Montana. Pull up your RV and access the hookups, or build your own construction. Either way, you have access to world-class fishing, hunting, boating, swimming, biking, hiking, and the internet. No matter where you're looking to buy, make Doug DeShazer your real estate consultant at 406-291-1643. That's Doug DeShazer at 406-291-1643.
From Sifted, from Arma2236. What, if anything, is keeping Halo from being released on PlayStation and Nintendo platforms? How long do you think it will be before Microsoft starts releasing its biggest exclusives on other platforms? I think that a timed release, a timed exclusive, is far more likely. I think Microsoft's going to get very comfortable with how Call of Duty shows up on multi-platform, and I think that it will very likely do something like Halo's going to be on Game Pass for 3 months, and then they'll put it on other platforms. And again, it's that same issue I talked about in an earlier episode about Netflix doesn't want movies in theaters, or if they do, they're in for a week or two. The value proposition of putting a game out on multi-platform is so great that it can only be offset by big console sales, and Microsoft doesn't have them. And so, much like Sega got out of the console business and started supporting multi-platforms, Microsoft's headed that way. I think Microsoft will probably put things on Game Pass first and then expand to other platforms. So if you're never going to be a Game Pass member, we'll sell you Halo as well, but 3 months later. And I think that they're hopeful that when you buy your second or third Microsoft game, you're going to go, gosh, I should try Game Pass, because what the hell? I'm already giving them $70 a year. Why don't I give them $180 a year and get all their games? So I think ultimately they'll win people over that way. They are definitely smart enough to figure that out, and I think they have. So I think it's going to happen eventually. The real problem with Nintendo is the Nintendo Switch 2 going to be powerful enough to play a good version of Halo? I don't know. The Switch 1 probably is not. And the Switch 2 is not coming until 2025. I expect it's going to be like a PS4 Pro. It'll be good architecture and probably fast frame rate and high definition, but who knows, with Nintendo. In any case, how long do I think it'll be? 5 years. I think when Microsoft gets to the 100 million Game Pass subscriber level, they're going to start to do timed exclusives, and they'll start to push things out to other platforms because they'll have enough cash coming in from Game Pass that they can afford to do that. And they will largely be out of the Xbox business, but again, will there be a next-gen Xbox? Sure. They just won't sell very many copies of it. Under the provisions of their regulatory approval for the Activision deal, that they would release Call of Duty multi-platform all at the same time. They aren't required to do that with their own first-party IP. They may or may not choose to do it at the same time. It's their call. And they can actually see how Call of Duty works on other platforms and the extent to which it drives Game Pass subscription growth. If they think that multi-platform and Game Pass all at the same time works, then maybe they'll do that with Halo. Maybe. But I think they'll try timed exclusives and see what happens. So, and if they see no difference between Call of Duty Day 1 and Halo 3 months later, then maybe they'll change. But I think they need to experiment, because I don't think anybody knows. I think saying Halo's on PlayStation is just saying that Microsoft doesn't care about selling you an Xbox. The tipping point in what will make this decision is if Microsoft thinks it'll make more money by making Halo non-exclusive. And that's why I said the day that they decide the Game Pass business is more important to us than the console business is the day that they'll cross over that decision and decide to put it on other platforms as well. It's just the timing of how they do that. A year later, 5 years later, 2 months later, same day, I don't know. They have to experiment and figure out what will drive the highest revenue. And as I said, I mentioned this in another episode. Movies used to monetize in theaters only, and they did X in revenue. Now they're in 7 different distribution channels, and they do 3X. The box office is no longer X. It's a fraction of X. The total is 3X. So you give up the box office, a portion of it, but you make more money. That's Halo on PlayStation. Xbox revenues will be lower, but Game Pass revenues and then PlayStation revenues in the aggregate will be higher. And if Microsoft does the math and concludes that they're going to go from X to 1.5X by doing that, they'll do it. That's as simple as that. But X includes profits from Xbox sales. And when Microsoft, and profits not just from the hardware sale, from the ongoing royalties paid by other games that show up on Xbox. It's a sophisticated business model. Microsoft's going to figure it out. And the moment they conclude we will make more money if we put these games on other platforms, they will do so. It doesn't mean they'll do it the same instant that it's on Game Pass. They will figure out exactly the right window. When a movie comes out in the theater, it's not on Netflix the same day. It's not on HBO the same day. It's not on commercial broadcast television the same day. It's not on DVD the same day. The movie business over the last 80 years, 90 years, whatever, since TV, so it's the last 80 years, has figured out where to segment these different windows and to figure out who gets what content when. Segmenting the windows is hard, and Microsoft's going to figure it out for games. But the answer to your question is yes. Ultimately, first-party content is going to be on multi-platform because it will make business sense for that to happen. And again, you never know, like the latency of Game Pass is going to matter. Like if Game Pass sucks, then it's going to be hard to play Halo on Game Pass. If you play Halo on Game Pass with a client, so you're playing it on your PC and the game's actually downloaded to your hard drive, then sure, but again, I think Game Pass should be on PlayStation. Download the game to your PlayStation and play on Game Pass. Will Sony let that happen? No, I know, but Sony should, because they're going to get all those games and they can be the platform. I know, but again, that's the dynamic that we can't sort out with speculation. And again, will cloud get faster? Will Game Pass get faster? Will there be a way to have something downloaded to the client so the game multiplayer works absolutely fine? Will TVs be built with a terabyte of RAM in them? Maybe, if RAM keeps getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Will it be an external dongle with a terabyte of RAM that you download your game to? Maybe. Where's this thing here. 128 gigs, $20. Okay? And
that's not Flash.
No, I know. But
that's Flash, not RAM.
I know, yeah. I know. But I can download the game to this. No, it's not the RAM. I said RAM. I meant Flash. I can download a game to this if it's 128 gigs. My point is that Flash, the storage for the game is really cheap. Yes, so you got to put RAM into. I know. I don't know. Could I have the game on a dongle and my PC CPU processing it through Bluetooth? I don't know. Just saying, who knows what's going to happen with tech? But if there is a business case for tech companies to do this, there's a business case to put a chipset in a TV that's more powerful, it's going to happen. There's a business case for DRAM and RAM in a TV, and then yes, it's going to happen. So I don't know the answer, but eventually Microsoft's going to figure out. If any company is ever going to figure this out, it is Microsoft corporate, not games. Microsoft corporate, because they have a cloud business that is the basis for Game Pass, and it's in their best interest. If you can do everything in the cloud and have no computers at home at all, and all you have is dumb terminals, and everything works instantly, Microsoft wins. So I think that is a corporate-wide mission. I think it's going to happen. That's it for me, fellow babies. Thanks for joining us on Pachter Factor. If you're a Patreon patron or a YouTube subscriber, thank you. If you are not a dope and you're not lazy and you've linked your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch Prime account, you have stuck it to Amazon, Good for you. Thank you. It was easy to do. If you haven't done it in a couple months, you have to relink it. So please remember to relink it. And I promise I will tell everybody how smart and industrious you are rather than how stupid and lazy you are. So be smart and industrious. Link Amazon Prime to Twitch Prime. Stick it to Amazon. See you next time.